How's it, everyone? Welcome back to our channel. Mark here from How's It Machana. And today, very quickly, we are going to be speaking to teachers again, those people wanting to come and teach in China. We're going to look at jobs, job types, and then a very quick few points about salaries and potential earning here in China. So, there are quite a few types of teaching jobs in China that cater for both TEFL English teachers and trained licensed subject teachers. So in China, you can get English jobs at public schools, at private schools, and also at international schools. And those age ranges go from kids who are kindergarten age right up to middle or primary school, and then right through to high school and matric as we know it back in South Africa. Often, though, the international schools will ask for teachers who have Bachelor of Education or PGCE qualifications. So, if you have those, private schools and international schools are a great place to look for jobs, and they come with a pretty good earnings potential as well. Uh, and then, of course, there are some private schools and international schools that may just employ you with your TEFL certificate for teaching English, if that is what they are looking for. Uh, then also, a number of universities employ English teachers as well to teach in programs where they teach first year students academic literacy, how to write essays, how to do research and those sorts of things, and just using the English language. So, if you prefer working with adults, then having a look at the university programs is also a good idea. There are also some very niche, very specific teaching roles available, like adult coaching in a private corporation or similar jobs like that. So it's just about looking for what you want. And then, of course, there's the question of private English training centers. Now, these are private after school English centers, and essentially they're actually like private businesses, they're not schools. And parents would drop their kids off after school at these private centers where they get training in English and teaching in English that maybe they're not getting at school, or they want their child to have more English. And a lot of these training centers will also run all sorts of English classes to adults, to business type English. So that's also a really dynamic place to work. But in the past, this is where most TEFL teachers in China worked, in these private training centers. And this sector literally employed thousands of teachers across the country. But just before COVID 19 happened, the Chinese government had already started speaking about changes to the legislation governing these private training centers. And then, coupled with everything that happened with COVID and the new legislation, many of these centers actually closed down. There are still some that exist today and are still hiring teachers and are legitimate. But our advice is, if you're thinking of coming over to teach, rather try and see if you can get a job at a school or maybe a university and use the training center jobs as a backup, as the future is still a little bit unclear about where those training centers are going. So that's our advice. Maybe stick to the schools for now in your job search. So, the big question then, salaries. Okay, so I'm sure you can understand it's impossible for us to tell you exactly what salary you're going to get, because that obviously depends on each school or each organization that's hiring. But what we can do is help you with a salary range that you can consider when looking for jobs. So, for any school, be it public, private, or international, we would suggest not accepting or looking at jobs that have a salary that is lower than 14 to 15,000 RMB per month. Okay, so don't look for anything lower than 14 to 15,000 RMB per month, no matter what your qualifications are. So, if you've just got your TEFL certificate with your degree, even then you should be able to get 14 to 15,000 RMB. So that's a low baseline, And in fact, most schools will offer closer to probably 20,000 RMB and sometimes even more than that. So, funnily enough, it's kindergarten teachers and, of course, licensed teachers in the private and international schools who have the potential to earn the most. So, if you enjoy working with really, really young kids, um, well, that's great because licensed teachers and kindergarten teachers often can earn close to 30,000 RMB, if not even more. All right, but remember, 18 or 19,000 RMB at the moment is around 50,000 Rand, which is way more than most fully trained and licensed professional teachers are earning in South Africa. So just have that in perspective in the back of your mind when you're looking at salaries. So to be honest, any salary between 15 to 25,000 RMB is really worth considering all around. Then the universities, well, the universities tend to actually pay the least. But again, there can be some very good offers and some programs. So if you see a really high paying university program, well, that's fantastic as well. But the reason why universities pay less generally is because that you'll probably only work around 16 to 22 hours in a week, which is way less than what you would work in most of the schools or the private positions. But the universities also get longer holidays. So, yeah, there's a lot to consider in your salaries, and of course, there's all the perks and as well as the deductions. But we'll cover that in another video because it takes a little bit more detail. But what we can say is that China is one of the best, if not the best, paying Asian country when it comes to English teachers. So it's worth the extra effort to get over there in the end of the day. So in summary, anything around 14 to 15,000 RMB per month must be the minimum that you'd be looking to get. And even if you earn 15,000 RMB a month, you're going to be living very comfortably in China and you are still going to be able to save some money if that's your goal. And I'm sure it is. So that's why we say this is the lowest mark and it's a good mark to consider. Anything above 15,000 RMB and you're going to be doing really well and saving lots of money. But like we said, we'll do another video on contracts, cost of living, deductions, savings potential, all in a lot more detail in another video. So anyway, that's it. Job types and earning potential in brief for now. We hope it was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new. Remember, by subscribing, it makes sure that all our videos come up on your feed when we post. And of course, if you've got any questions, we'd love to try and help you out. Post them below in the comments section. Like our video, and we'll see you in the next one. So it's a good South African cheers for now.